Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well out
Morning.
there.
Afternoon.
Afternoon, yeah, to many.
Hello.
Many of our UK.
Yes.
Evening for the
Australians.
Middle East and
and
Australians.
Australia. Yeah. Asia as well.
Asia as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asia as well.
Hope you're all doing well, guys. Hope everyone got some golf for the weekend, Matty boy. You played.
I did.
You played.
Played. Disappointed myself.
Yeah. CCs, but
Now, I wasn't last. I was like 12th, but I certainly didn't play very well. But what can you do? I haven't played a tournament. I was on the 18th tee. I'm like, I haven't played a tournament, like an individual tournament in years, and I have never played a three-day tournament in my life.
Huh.
So I'm like, what did you expect?
That's interesting, eh?
What do you expect, right?
Yeah, it's different, eh?
Why? What do you think? You're just going to show up and win?
I know. Well, that's why kind of the sort of sharing. I shared my Arcos data from our round at the pulpit, and it's like, if you have a good round, enjoy that it's a good round, because it is such a rare thing to have a good round.
Especially to repeat it in close proximity.
It doesn't happen.
It's near impossible.
Basically, that's the difference between a tour player and an average good player.
100%.
Is being able to do it 3 or 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
The average good player cannot do that.
Yes, that's a good point. Average good player. Yes, there's a big difference. That's a good point. Yeah, I basically learned that I'm currently mentally incapable of playing more than 6 or 7 good holes at a time, which is fine. At least I'm aware of it now. Like I had great 6 and 7 hole stretches, then 0, and then like it would come back again. So
peaks and troughs.
I know what to work on at least.
Peaks and troughs.
The mental game needs attention.
Yeah, I'd love to do like a little mental mini series, the sort of on the channel. I think that's
a good
such
point.
a missing link. I actually wrote it down in notes to start the mental mini series.
Well, sorry, not to interrupt you, but we now with like Whoop bands and stuff,
I know.
at least we can quantify stuff a little bit more.
Yep,
it's not just theory. Like we could test certain methods of pre-shot routines, breathing, stuff like.
I'd also love to get things like the focus band in and sort of start to take a deep dive into people's ability to stay in the moment, and because I know what you're saying there about playing tournament golf, and you feel like playing those 6 and 7 hole stretches are what becomes particularly difficult. That is literally the training of an elite athlete. You're as capable as everyone out there is hitting the single same shot.
The physical skill is
the physical skill, but to stay in the moment, to stay, and not kind of change your state, to stay in that same state. Okay, whether it's the glove or whether it's pulling the club out of the bag, something's your trigger. Okay, I'm on.
Triggers your mind.
Yeah, that's it. Their switches, they're on and off. I'd done a lot of psychology work when I was trying to play, and it was amazing.
Did you work with a psychologist?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
This was at home,
in South England. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was great. So I think being able to that for you, I'd love to see the application of that for someone like yourself who's physically as talented as anyone out there, but just those little lapses are hard to explain.
I had to tell myself that. I said, you've done what you can to train the physical part of it in terms of like to a reasonable degree. Yeah, but I mean, to say I've neglected the performance aspect is an understatement. But it's good. I mean, you can't learn that unless you get in. And again, I haven't played tournaments in years. I'm like, let's just play in some and see what happens. At least I know. Now I know what occurs when I'm in a tournament situation. Yeah, it can be fine, but I'm going to make a bad swing, which is what happened all 3 days around the 6th or 7th hole, and it's just going to really screw me up. Yeah, it's going to be in my head.
Shock your system.
Oh, maybe at some point later in the back nine, calm myself back down or get that out of my head, but it will be too late.
Yeah.
To shoot 2 or 3 under, you can't have 4 like blackout holes where you're just like scrambling to make double. Like you can't do that.
I know. And I'm sure that guys, this sounds so familiar for all of you out there who play around and go, I was going so well, but I just had 3 bad holes or 2 bad holes. Yeah. But that's why it's an 18-hole, game. It doesn't, you don't get any points for the 15-hole good round.
That's why I like my men's league because it's 9 holes.
I know.
And I'm like on the seventh tee. Yeah, I'm like 7th tee. I'm even. Get it in the house. Get it in there.
Funny.
All right.
Well, yeah. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up if you would like to see that mental mini series.
That's a good idea.
Try and sort of, we're obviously talked a lot about physical, being physically prepared. Obviously, equipment is our main focus. Yep. Done so much swing stuff with these guys. It's true. Would love to hear your thoughts, and wouldn't be too difficult for us to track down some really good people for that stuff.
I think we're blessed to have connections to just about as many experts in that kind of field as
Yeah.
as you can imagine.
I know.
Alrighty.
All right, let's
Anything
dive
else
on
new,
in there.
shall we?
Nothing too much new. Got some.
We'll tell people what we're up to today.
Yeah.
So next Monday, we're allowed to release all of our JPX, I'm allowed to say, 921 stuff.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So the 24th of August, you'll see it. So we're going to film a bit more of that today. So you won't see that this week, but next week. We're going to film some new Callaway game improvement stuff.
Yes.
I don't even know are we allowed to release those right away?
I don't think so.
No. Okay, well, you may not see that either.
Yeah.
Cobra, MIM wedges, and the King Forged utility, which people were really asking for, so thanks to Cobra.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. What else are we doing
Putter
today?
shaft.
Oh yeah, the putter shaft thing. Did some testing last week, but we're gonna do the video this week.
We were able to get our hands on some research done by Dr. Paul Hurrian at his lab in England at the Quintic lab, and we kind of thought it would be nice to back up our findings with his facts. And
that's right.
Sort of, he's doing his with Alistair Cochrane, who many of you may have heard of, some of you might have.
Who's that?
Alistair Cochrane has been kind of at the front of a lot of the kind of significant golf research being done out there. Certainly we studied his stuff an awful lot when we were going through the PGA training back in the UK. So he lives very close to Paul, and they've been doing some stuff together. And
very cool.
I think they'll probably uncover some pretty significant stuff.
Wow.
So I'm excited to see what that will be.
Should we ask if people want to? You got those Strixon balls in? I saw them.
The
soft feel, the new ones.
Soft feels. Were they in my office?
No, they're by the door.
Are they?
What do you think?
I see. Yeah,
That might be a sneaky video to do.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a video just there, just snuck past for the Vice Pro
That's true. We have to do the Pro Plus
because the Pro one went down well. Maybe do a little.
That's a good point.
Pro V1X and Pro Plus.
You're right. We did ask if people wanted it.
Yeah.
Everyone said yes, so we should do that.
Yeah.
Be a bit rude not to after that.
I reached out to Snell to try and get some Snell golf
Snelly.
balls. I mean, we've done that test, but I think it would be nice to update it and
Yeah,
have another look at it.
It's a new generation of ball. It must be.
I think it's still the same, is it not? I think that MTB Black.
Would they not have refreshed? I want to say it was 2 years ago, though. No?
I know.
I feel like they must have
I don't
refreshed.
think it has.
You might be right. Yeah, but even if theirs hasn't changed, we can test it against stuff that's newer. Like TP5 is new, Pro V1's new. All these things are new.
Exactly. I think it's good to update these little tests. I'm going to check if there is a new version of that ball.
It was a damn popular ball. I'll tell you that much. Super popular. Snelly.
Yeah, I think the only thing they done, Matty, was I think they just added a yellow one for my pleasure.
For your pleasure, that's right. I actually played with two really good players in my club. Have been playing yellow balls too.
Is that right?
Yeah, like really good players. Yeah, like scratch handicap guys. I didn't believe you when you told me that you thought that like more people would start playing yellow, but now I do because I can see people doing it.
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, okay, well maybe like 1 in 50 guys, but.
I think that the attraction for me is definitely walking onto Mullen Golf Ball. I think that's the biggest attraction.
It must be 90% of it.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually, April Hartness, she was saying she played in a group and she was using a yellow golf ball, and for that reason as well.
Right.
And then she turned up and she's kind of like in her sort of little circle. She's a good player. She's the one that kind of, I guess, leads by example. She rocks up to the course one day and they're all playing yellow balls. So she has to go and get the white golf ball lights because she wants to kind of literally walk on to...
She's an influencer then.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
She is.
Love it. All right.
Alrighty.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's dive on in there. It seems like there's loads of action.
Why don't you stay in the present?
Okay.
Let's get back to that routine because I think it works nicely. And I will go I'll go back to the past. All right. From Jack. This is a good way to start, Jack.
Jack the lad.
I like the sound of this. Jack says, recent changes to his preferred shot shape from a draw to a fade. Definitely heard this a lot. With an increased spin rate that he's getting with that, should I now consider a lower spinning driver head? I feel like I'm losing distance. That is a good question. You have to think yes, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like a draw versus a fade might spin 1,000 RPMs different.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, Jack. Yeah, I mean, once you change your delivery from a draw to a fade, your delivered loft is generally going to change, your angle attack is generally going to change, so therefore your spin loft is going to change. So, you want to make sure that you're not, obviously you're making these changes for the benefit of accuracy, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But you don't want to sacrifice all the distance and all of it.
Can't lose 30 yards. No. It's not a good feeling.
That.
But you don't really have to. I think that's the misconception. You don't have to.
No.
So would he try lofting down the driver first?
Could do.
If you need to potentially save yourself $1,000?
Yeah, I mean, the only worry with that is, and I'm probably, I can talk to that maybe from my own scenario, is I've been playing that sim turn down and loft, but now I've kind of changed my delivery pattern a little bit. It now just wipes right. So because
the face is open.
So I need to see that when I square that thing back up, is that then is that then the right club for me? Or is that going to have to start looking at something different? So
makes sense.
Yeah,
it does make sense.
I would go and have a look at it though. Once your pattern settles down, you've got a good handle on it. I'd go and take a little look at the driver and see if there's a little bit of leakage.
Yeah, I think there's room to improve. Fairways are first and foremost, but a couple more yards never hurt anybody.
Yes.
All right, I'll grab one more and then you can go to the present. Well. Justin is asking about X100s versus X100 Tour issue. Is it worth the upcharge?
Is it worth the upcharge? I mean, you're probably asking the wrong guy. I mean, I would always say yes, because I'm going to say that, you ask a chef if he wants to use produce from the supermarket or he wants organic produce. What does he want to work with? Well, if he wants to make the best meal he can make, he's going to go after organic produce because that's going to produce the best end result. I'm always going to say X100 Tour issues because I know the tolerances are tighter. I work with them all the time. I see them from a weight sorting standpoint. I see them when the CPM just tighter because of that. That weight has a real bearing on the CPM. And even though they're a taper tip set of shafts, we can still follow a tight CPM tolerance to make sure the flex is gradual. So I would always say yes.
Just a better starting point.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Hey, that's why people ask. The answer is yes. Quick one from Joe. Joe's asking, can you order custom clubs through TXG without getting a fitting? Yes, you can.
Yep, you can.
Yes, you can, Joe. What would be best for Joe? Email?
Email, yeah. I had a couple of people actually kind of in the DMs asking about stuff like that. The DMs are it's easy for things to get lost in the DMs.
Official communication would be send it to info@txg.ca, and then it will be distributed to the correct person.
That can get diverted off to the order team and they can get back to you with whether it's a quote or any questions, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Not any questions, but easy there, Tiger.
Questions that are relevant.
4,000 emails.
Relevant question. You caught yourself. No, not any question.
Not any questions, just a few wee questions.
To you.
Oh, man. There's an interesting one from Raul. Ian, how common is it to have a fitting situation similar to Gabe's refit being needed so soon after the initial fit?
Gabe Gallucci?
Yeah. So I would say it's fairly rare. Now, I think at the time when Gabe came in for his initial fit, it was probably still in the winter time, and it may be, the version of himself that came in that day was obviously a very different version from what he eventually ended up with. But again, that's why we always say that the fitting process is a relationship, and we're not a store, we're not a shop. We're not just literally selling Gabe a club and then going, off you go. Yeah. And then he got to a scenario where he was struggling a little bit with it. We both looked at it. We came up with a slightly better solution at the time. We still did go through his data from the first session. And I had to just let him know.
Remind him that it was good, right?
It was good. Look at the data, look at the numbers. This is why we done what we done. But look at all these parameters. This is now why you're so different. So that's
for everyone watching that's not sure what we're talking about. Did he change shot shapes? Was he hitting a draw, then he wanted to hit a fade or something?
I think he was kind of stuck in what he was trying to do with it.
Okay, so there was a delivery change, obviously.
Yeah. Gotcha. He was kind of a little bit stuck between sort of patterns, and he just found that, you know, once that pattern settled down, he needed a little bit more loft. He really needed to try and work on not missing it left.
Okay. So there was a big miss left.
Yeah, having a little bit more loft to, you know, ultimately have the option to then set it a little open.
Yeah.
Go with something a little bit more stiff in the tip, like the Tensi Pro Orange with the MR70.
Did you change shafts too?
Done everything.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Changed the whole thing out for him. So, yeah, no, I think he's driving it good.
Good.
I think he's driving
but
it well.
But it's as you said. That's why you come here, because it's not a one and done purchase.
Not one and done.
We figure out something for you if you need a change. I'm just going to take this one really quickly from Justin. Justin was going through some Gareth videos, which is great. Justin, good to hear. I think this is something we talk about quite a bit. So Gareth talks a lot about chipping with your gap wedge as an option. For someone that is going to chip quite a bit with a gap wedge or a lower lofted wedge, that's when the specialty wedge makes the most sense. Yeah. That's why you wouldn't stick with like a P790 gap wedge or something. So for Justin, I want to say yes, no brainer. Specialty wedge is the way to go. Yeah,
I mean, just in trying to figure out, maybe make a little pros and cons list of what are you going to use that club for. Is it from the fairway to a distance where you need the same forgiveness and attributes as the rest of your irons? Or are you using it maybe around the greens, long bunker shots? Do you need the milling on the face? Hydro Pearl if it's a ping, you know, you need a specific bounce number, 8 or 12 if it's a Vokey? You know, all those sorts of things. Do you need those options? And if the answer is yes to those questions when you make your list, go down the specialty route.
Sure enough. Yeah, unless it's, you basically said if it's not a full swing only club, then why not, right?
Definitely.
This is another quick one also. The new P700 series irons are available here now for fits. So I know, I want to say last Friday or something was the pre-order date. So if you want to get fit for them, you should be able to get, I mean, if you can get them here, you should be able to get them anywhere else, because Canada's usually not first in line anyway.
I think TXG gets about a 3-week buffer on everyone else, so we get them 3 weeks before.
So we have them 3 week buffer.
For us for 3 weeks.
We did have them early.
Nowhere else.
I know. If you go somewhere else, you'll have no chance. Chances are that question was from the States anyway.
I know.
All right, to you.
Tate, Ian, pros and cons of utility graphite shaft, i.e. DI Diamana thump rather than a graphite shaft from the set, i.e. I mean, honestly, no significant, I wouldn't say there's any real significant differences. Going with that hybrid shaft over an iron shaft. I use an iron shaft in mine, in my 2-iron. I would have no issue playing that in the hybrid as well, in the Mizuno hybrid. So, I mean, it just comes more down to the bend profile, down to the characteristics of that shaft. I don't think it's a kind of a hybrid shaft. Think of it like this. Think of it like a fairway wood shaft and a driver shaft. They're the same shaft, aren't they?
Right? Oh, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
If you put a graphite design DI 7X in your driver, if you swing quick, doesn't mean you can't play that in your fairway wood. It's just whether that shaft is the right characteristics for what you need.
Makes sense. Good, gotcha. All right, from Steven. Steven would like a shaft recommendation for his P790 UDI, a club that you play. He's a Modus 120S in his irons, Ventus Blue 7S in his driver, and he doesn't like the stock hazardous black in the UDI.
It was Bordy.
Bordy.
Steven. I'd go with a graphite design. I'd go with a DI 85 stiff.
Nice.
I think that would be good. I think a lot of people always tend to tell me that one actually feels a little bit in the smoother side of things. So I think that'd be a nice option.
Great.
For you feel Modus and Ventus, I think it'd probably match those feels quite well.
Fantastic.
Or a hang flyer for the new Ventus hybrid shaft potentially.
That's right. Yeah, forgot about that.
Well, sneaky Ventus hybrid shafts hitting the market fairly soon.
Should have those into test in the near future. I'm just going to pop this on the screen because clearly there's word in the market already about what Callaway is, so we don't have to say it in case we're not allowed to say it. I'm just going to put it on the screen. And if that's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not.
What was the last bit? I missed that last bit.
Maybe not the cup of tea that. It's for a certain range of player. It is specific. We'll say that. It is specific. Okay. Do you want me to grab another one?
Well, we've got a little, our good friend Chris Freitag just sent a little super chat with not a question, just a thank you for sharing the expertise, knowledge, recommendations. Congrats on the 100K. The new Mississauga store looks fabulous. Arcos is helping his game. Good, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, you do things right, buddy. You do think that's why your handicap is dropping, because you do things right. You do, you're coaching. You go and see good coaches. You get proper equipment, advice, and you do things like Arcos and get good information. You touch on all the right things that someone needs to touch on to improve. It's not a case of doing one thing and hoping it works. If you do all those things, it's inevitable you're going to get better. So it's congrats to you.
That's
pal.
good. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Very supportive as always.
Yep.
Much appreciated. Okay, Brian. This is a good question from Brian. What oldest heads in the drawer still sell? So what's something that is on the older
Easy
side?
one. Yeah, G410. It's the oldest, isn't it?
It is.
Now it's 2 years since we had our hands on that one.
People are still coming in and finding that's a great option for them?
Yeah, still one or two in the kind of stakes. I think Sim would have to be number one in the Metalwood stakes this year.
I'm really starting to see that. People are
lots of
loving
Sims out
Sims.
there.
Yeah. I mean, it's working well. What can you say? It's a great driver.
Definitely.
All right, I'll take one more. Alex is asking, what is the first thing you do during an iron fitting when someone lives off the toe? I know that feeling. Current irons have a wear mark high and toe side. Okay. So what is something that you look for when someone has a toe strike with their irons in a fit?
Well, the usual stuff: length, lie angle, shaft deflection. Is the shaft too soft? Is it drooping too much and effectively shortening the club? I mean, the intent is to hit it in the middle. We're falling short by probably 3/4 of an inch or so. We have to figure out how to make up that difference in space.
Right.
Yeah, so is that changing your swing slightly? Is that giving you weight to shift the club around in your swing? Is it potentially a grip thing, just to kind of give you a different sense of where things are? Presenting the face slightly more open will tend to move strike heel side. Presenting it more closed will tend to be more toe side.
Right.
So you try everything in your arsenal, and then at that point, it happens sometimes. It just nothing
That's
moves
the swing.
over.
Yeah.
Nothing moves over.
But there is hope, clearly.
There's always hope. Yeah, and I would say, more often than not, we get it.
Yes.
We get it and fix it. But sometimes the issue is just a bigger underlying issue.
Well, at least you can find that out in a fitting, right?
Yeah.
At least you could say to someone, you need to work on your toe strike.
Yep.
The clubs are not going to help. All right, to you.
Zachary, awesome grip video a few weeks ago. He wears the Cadet medium glove with short fingers. Fingers don't touch the palm with finger grip. Thoughts? Obviously those are sort of, I would say, I don't know if I want to call them dated fundamentals, but they're certainly
the fact that this should just barely
you've got to
touch
just be touching the tips of your fingers. I've seen plenty of people who have large hands who love a small grip. I've seen people who have smaller hands who love a bigger grip. Tennis players, for example,
That's true.
always like to they don't ever like to have the hand closed over the grip, because they're used to that with their handle and their tennis racket. So I don't think those things apply 100% of the time. I think going through the process, going through and finding what's right for you is the key.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a long. I couldn't even tell you if mine touches my palm.
I know.
Actually, I have no idea. Keep your head down. Also,
Left arm straight.
Chris has a good, quick question, just about align grips. So is Align basically the new version of ribbed?
Yes, it is.
Probably I'd say it's a better version too, right?
Definitely, yeah. Well, one of the problems with ribbed, and it still occasionally happens, is sometimes it's hard to identify because you can't see it often.
Yeah, you literally have to sit there
You
feeling
literally
it.
have to kind of check it and feel it. So there's many times I've seen over the years putting on grips, and there's one cheeky little ribbed one snuck in there, and you're supposed to put it
By
around.
accident.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah, that happens.
Somebody's like, what is going on with my 7-iron?
Yeah, so
Ribbed for no one's pleasure.
No one's pleasure whatsoever.
Surprise pleasure. The ribbed is good if you're expecting it. If it's unexpected, it's probably not going to be a great time. Daniel's asking if there's penalties for breaking embargoes. I'm sure there are, Daniel. We wouldn't know, though.
No,
we wouldn't know.
no, it's not
because
as
we play the rules. Play by the rules.
Not as good, guys. Nate saying, Ian, at a party I was just at, they had a golf net set up and a few balls to hit. Why was I puring golf balls 5 pints in?
Because you were relaxed.
Are you a tennis golfer, Nate?
I'm sure I would have.
Are you waiting for the mental mini-series?
I would have been puring after 5. We should include drinking in the mental mini-series.
You're definitely into this.
Oh, and now you're really getting me into it. You know, it's like if you keep mentioning something over and over again, you can tell that it needs to be done. I've mentioned the beer golf probably 48 times. I just think people.
We should do test Coronas.
I know. Yeah. What's a great light beer? Corona, delicious, light, refreshing.
Implicit Zen is asking, what are the benefits of graphite iron shafts? Why don't we see them more on tour?
Good question.
Yeah, I think it's just, the feedback that, that 130 gram shaft gives players is just, they're just so used to it. They get great results with it, therefore they're very reluctant to change it. There are very few players out there who play the graphite stuff. Abe Answer's probably the best out there right now in terms of world rankings and using graphite shafts. I think he's using something like a 105X from Mitsubishi, the MMT.
Right, I remember you said that.
Yeah, so it's about 115 gram shaft. I generally just think it doesn't give tour players what they're looking for, which is that sort of feedback, and I feel like they probably think they've got enough of what they have. At that speed, weight is really your friend.
Right.
Yeah.
More weight.
More weight is beneficial. So I think the benefits of going with graphite are obviously vibration dampening. You can get light but strong shafts in there. That's why they're in woods and not really irons. So I just don't think it's really needed. Is why it's never really got in there.
Do you think eventually there'll be a generation of young good players that will grow up playing graphite shafts because the technology will justify it, and then by the time that generation makes it to tour, I'm talking about like 30 years from now?
I know. I mean,
maybe that's when it happens?
I certainly remember having this conversation about 10 years ago about this, and really we've probably inched our way forward rather than made strides.
Yeah.
If we look in the wall and a company like us, we've not really adopted any of the heavy graphite shafts to our matrix.
You have like 1 or 2 at most, right?
And if you're going to influence a generation, you probably need to get, kids from 14, 16, 18 playing US amateurs, playing college golf, and then get them on the tour doing it.
That's true.
That process takes 10 to 15 years to influence a generation. So I don't see it coming anytime soon.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Maybe we're still at day 0 with that. I mean, 1 or 2 guys playing it is nothing.
We're
really.
not far off that, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, there's probably less people playing now than when that conversation was being had.
Really?
Yeah, because there was a significant bunch playing steel fibre for a while. I mean, Kuchar, Snedeker, Zach Johnson had them for a little while. Graham McDowell had them for a little while.
And then just switched back.
Yeah, most of them have switched out back to steel.
The chase continues for that, that's for sure. Okay, Uday's asking, his new clubs got stolen. Sorry to hear about that. Are the Z965 enough of an improvement over VR Pro blades to get them? So
I would say it's a good improvement. Yeah. I think it's a really nice iron, that 965.
And would Nippon Pro Modus 130 stiff be okay for a 125? I would say you need X, right?
Yeah.
You're fast, Uday. Fast.
You're fast, my man. You're fast.
Go with the X.
That shaft requires an X.
An X for your enjoyment. Do you have one prepped, or I got one also?
Yeah, I don't see too many supers that are outstanding.
Grab a regular one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Odd. The My Golf Swag guys done a drinking test.
Did they?
I don't know. My dad said that
take a gander at it.
My Golf Swag did a drinking test.
Well, I'd like to know how that went.
That is hilarious.
I feel like the result isn't going to be a surprise. I think it would just be funny.
We need to do it. Picture the scene.
Picture this.
We're in Pinehurst. We're going to do the drunken round will occur at the Cradle.
That's the academy course.
Yeah, that's the place. To do it. Not number 2, but it's,
you want to have your wits about you to some degree.
Definitely. That's we'll do a little.
I love it.
Little bevied golf.
It's so funny. Bevied golf.
Bevied golf.
Ben is asking, cannot find a driver shaft. He's always recommended heavy shafts, but he thinks he needs a lighter shaft with a stiff tip. Don't know driver swing speed, but he hits a pitching wedge 160.
Jesus.
So you hit it far, Ben, so your driver swing speed is probably at least 110, depending on what kind of clubs you play.
Yeah, I mean...
Doesn't sound like a person who needs a lighter shaft to me.
No, not really, Ben. But you know, if you need something in the lighter sides, you know, depends on your budget and how much you want to allocate towards it. Like, you know, hazardous smoke green 6.5 TX potentially. You can get the 65 gram version of that. Even the shaft that Matty plays, the RPG 462 M5 Plus, is not overly heavy, but but very, very stout. There are options out there, but it just sounds like to me you need to go and get fit.
Yeah, especially when you're not sure what your club head speed is. It's hard to go from there. All right, to you if you're ready.
I don't know what the username is, but
username the following.
Currently using Callaway XR irons. Regular flex hits 7 iron 175 to 185.
Boom.
Struggle with anything over 6 iron hooking. What should I do if I was to upgrade? Well, I mean, obviously look at the offset and the clubs you're playing. XRs are significantly offset. Have a look at the length of the clubs. They're probably progressive length rather than standard length, so they'll be a little bit on the longer side.
That's a good call.
Go with something a bit heavier, a bit stiffer, something more bendable to allow you to go a little bit flatter. Use all of those tricks around the club design to try and take that shape out, potentially a bigger grip as well.
Progressive length?
Help.
What's that?
Progressive lengths are what companies do. So rather than going in half-inch increments, they might go, 5/8, and then they'll go, 3/16. There's no.
Is it try to sneak yardage gaps, like to help people that hit long irons 2 feet off the ground, kind of thing?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's designed so every iron has its own kind of unique design for how that iron is designed to play. So
but for that category.
Yeah.
So if he's moving past that, it makes sense that stuff is starting to shape.
Yep.
An unpleasant shape. All right, Kyle. Kyle is refurbishing his irons, removed the chrome nickel plating, and lost 5 grams of head weight. Holy, that's wild. We're replacing that with a tip weight, adjust COG, or make it draw biased. Okay, so we removed the finish. They got 5 grams lighter.
Yeah.
Is a tip weight okay?
Yes, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's 2%, about 2% of the overall weight of your mid irons. So, no issue.
No issue. That's the answer you want to hear, isn't it?
Yeah. Oliver is asking, can you play the new P770 as a scratch handicap? Absolutely you can.
I don't see why not.
Absolutely you can.
I might play them. Such a nice iron.
Such a nice iron.
Do you know what's funny? The comments. Tons of people thought that the speed slot, found it offensive, basically.
Yeah. What, they just didn't want it there?
Yeah, just thought and it's fair enough. You're spending a ton of money. So they're kind of the irons are really nicely designed. I really dislike the look of that slot in the longer irons. It wasn't on my radar. I figured people wouldn't care. The technology would outweigh the fact that it's there. But a ton of people were just poo-pooed that hard.
Trust me, I have it in my 2 iron. I love the speed slot in my 2 iron.
Slot is for your pleasure.
It's for your
Speaking
enjoyment.
of things that are for your pleasure, that's another one. The slot is all low strikes and miss hits and
it's all gravy. It's only there to help you.
Do you think that they could do it without a visible thing? Is it possible?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think they do it on purpose?
I don't think they can do it as well because you lose the ability to have as much flex in the frame. But
if they ever could, they would, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, to you.
Chad, how do P770 compare to HMB? I would probably actually argue that I prefer the compact look of the 770 over the HMB. The 770 is probably the shape that I wish the HMB was.
That's fair.
I think the HMB needs to be shrunk.
Version 2, I would imagine, will be a little more slim.
Yeah, I would love to see. I just think it's an absolute home run if they can shrink that down a little bit.
Totally agree with that.
But even an HMB Pro or something like that.
Can you imagine that?
That'd be so nice.
Or if HMB was more progressive like 770 is, you know what I mean? I think HMB is fairly I shouldn't say this, it's probably wrong, but it's not as progressive a set as 770 looks.
I definitely think so. It's when I first saw it, I was really taken by HMB, and then kind of when I saw a set in person, I'm like, it's just a bit big for my liking.
Yeah,
and and
that's fair enough.
I've never really been able to get over it.
I'll never get over it. No, but I think next year you're right. I bet you that's on the list of things that version 2, when they come out with MP whatever 22 or something, and they'll chat about that at the conference room A.
Luke makes a great point. Hit the i500s low, then you'll learn to love the speed slot. That is a perfect point.
Fair remark.
Isn't it?
It is.
Zing that and it'll ping up your hands, and all of a sudden you'll be pining for the speed slot.
It's totally true. Totally true. All right. I like to see the usual suspects having deep conversations. Enjoy, everyone.
The Drop Zone is asking, how does someone become a fitter? What certification do you need? You don't need a certification. You absolutely do not. And the reality is there aren't many out there. I think there's companies like Mitchell who still do the golf schools. I'm not sure if Golf Works still do golf schools. But there is a void for a certification in our industry for that. There really is. And, my advice is always just go out there and get a job.
Yeah. Get some experience, right?
Go and get some experience. Go work at a retail store. Yeah. Go work at a Golf Galaxy. Go work at a Dick's Sporting Goods. PGA Superstore, I believe, have a pretty tight curriculum for that sort of stuff. I think stepping into an environment like this is probably a little bit too much. And for your first job in the industry.
It's not day one.
It's tough, yeah. It's tough to have, all those heads and shafts, looking down at you every day and kind of understanding which one to pick in what environment. So.
That's true. All right.
Phil's got one there. Did you see that one from Phil?
Sure. Grab it.
Phil is currently playing old Razor Fit 9.5 with an Aldila VS Proto. 165, 170 ball speed, 280 to 300 distance. What would be a modern day similar profile? Phil, this is a really good point. This is a good point, and I'm gonna probably defer from answering your question, because you should just let that club be that club. Just let it go. And the amount of people, when I see that they want to recreate past glories.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Forget it.
Because it's already glorious? Like, what are you looking for?
If you need something the same, just keep using it.
That's a good point,
It already does what it is, but just forget, honestly, don't worry about it. If you look over the years at the different profiles players have used, on the PGA Tour, just to use them as an example, they don't always use, the same one or even the same profile. The head and shaft combination will often dictate you have to make a diversion from a particular profile. So I would say just go get fit. Stick the old driver in the garage or whatever.
Yeah, make it an independent experience.
Absolutely. Or obviously take it with you to your fit, but don't rely on what that done to govern what you need to do moving forward. I would just let that stuff go.
It's a standalone.
Yeah, I mean, best driver I ever hit was a Ping G2 8.5 with an Aldila NV65. I don't walk around looking for the same
What do you got in a G2 these days?
Nothing. I don't even think about, does this shaft I'm playing right now compared to an Aldila because I hit that well then?
Just it's anecdotal to some degree.
Go.
Yeah.
Move on.
Love it. That's your honest answer there, Phil. I love it. Tate. Just asking Ian, what are the pros and cons of a utility graphite shaft? Did you take this already?
I did. Got that
Perfect.
one. Yep.
I think I'm getting back into the points where you took some. I've got one here from I Love It. I Love It. It's a play on words. I like it. Blending 730s into a P7MB 770 from the 5 and 6 iron. Is it okay to bend P730s strong? So basically, 730s are going to be the short irons of a set.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay to bend 1 degree strong? I don't see why not.
Yes.
To match the set, okay. 1 degree is fine. You're fine.
Definitely okay.
All right. Got one here. Using Shimada Tour mid 115 and swinging well, but need to move the strike up the face. Is that something with a bit more kick. So that shaft, if you were to switch out of it to move your strike up.
It depends where, so a little bit more kick. It just depends where that shaft is from a deflection standpoint. So, you would like to have the shaft and sort of less lead deflection to move the strike up the head. The more the shaft is working in lead deflection, the more likely you are to hit it lower in the head.
So you may actually want less kick.
You may or have more deflection, so there's deflection left on it
or
by the time,
or something.
Almost think of like your delivery when we kind of have those misses to the left with soft shafts. It's because it's
true. It's still
in load.
Like,
it hasn't recovered yet. So
you can't just tell him this is the one. You're going to have to test him.
That same outcome, to get that same outcome, you actually might have to use for two different people, two polar opposite shafts, because the way they make the shaft react for their particular load type
is the opposite based on their swing.
Yeah,
love it. All right, one more, then I'll switch off to you. Willie is asking about an iron head recommendation to regulate his ball speed. So he's been taking some lessons. That's good. 6 iron distance is way up, but his gapping is obviously going to be a bit whacked. So he's playing 545 and 745 Strixons.
Good for you, Willie. That's a nice jump.
That's a great jump. So he's probably into stuff that doesn't have quite as much techie. He'd be looking at something like a MC, TaylorMade MC, Titleist MC, all these type of clubs.
Yep. I mean, that original 545 was pretty chunky. I mean, the 745 is legendary, but the 545 was a little chunky back in the day. I think they improved upon the 500 series moving on.
Okay.
So, I would say you're probably out of being in a combo set, Willie, and just being into straight up, 7 series or whatever.
Like a forged iron from someone that you like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be blades. Okay. To you, if you have one ready.
Let's have a little look.
I am going to ask that people pump the brakes a bit for us so we can make sure we get everything.
There was I saw a funny one came in a second ago. I love it. Cheers, lads. P.S. You say my name a hell of a lot during the videos.
We actually do. I love it. I love it.
Keeps my attention.
That's hilarious. I'll start saying I like it instead.
Phil's saying, "Hi, thanks for not answering the question. Best response you could have given me. To be honest, in the meantime, I'll keep hitting it past."
It's good.
I mean, I appreciate you taking it like that, Phil. I mean, I see it often, and I kind of give that advice quite a lot in fits, and sort of, someone will maybe walk in with an old club and go, how do we recreate this? Like,
right.
Well, we don't. We make it better.
We don't do that.
Yeah. So, good for you, Phil. And I think having that mentality of always just trying to be better than you were before, not be as good as you were before, will always serve you well in golf.
Yeah, I think that's a great tip. Grab that quick from Brent.
Brent saw some Mura irons I can't pass up on.
Whatever
40 wedge 501s for seems legit good deal. What do you guys think? Seems too good to be true, to be honest.
It's not very much money, is it?
For Muras, I would honestly be careful. I'm seeing so many fake shafts coming in here right now.
Really?
Yep, so many DIs, a lot of graphite design, fake graphite design stuff.
You're saying customers are coming in the door with them?
Yeah, so they're buying stuff on eBay.
Oh boy.
Getting stuff built up for them, coming in here because it's not quite working for them, going, I wonder why the shaft's not working. Tell you what, look at the decals on it and go, this isn't real.
Yikes.
It's not close. I saw a fake G400 in here the other day. Lots of that.
I had no idea that was that big of an issue.
Matt, we'll jump back and get your
we're not there yet, Matt
chat,
Harrison.
Pal.
That's why I'm saying we need to catch up. But we'll get it, not to worry.
We will get you, pal.
All right, from Jose. Is the Sim UDI a better version of the P790 UDI? I don't think they're meant to compete.
Yeah, I think that's a good, you've summarized it on the next bit.
It's a forgiving version.
Yeah, forgiving version. Yeah.
I
personally, I would say, you haven't thought about it, I'm unlikely to change. I really like the 2 iron, I like everything about it.
You're hitting it great, yeah.
I like how it frames the ball, I like the ability to hit it on the lower side. If something changes and maybe I want to flight it in a slightly different way, maybe I'll change my mind, but
it's not a replacement.
Yeah.
It's going to go P790 UDI, then Sim UDI, then Sim DHY. Those are the smallest to largest. in that order. All right, we'll take the next one. You got that from Implicit Zen, good. Zachary, you got that. Spud the Fudd, there's the name.
Atta boy.
It's got a logo too. All right, Spud the Fudd.
STF.
Just getting back into golf, bought secondhand. We were just talking about 965s with X100. Would it be cost effective to get the length, loft, lies checked? So it's retrofitting, basically. Is it cost effective to get retrofit on a set of irons, assuming the head is close enough for them?
Very, very. I think that's a good way to get the specs you need. You've obviously got a set of heads that you like. Good way to do it.
Good. Spud the Fudd, chef recommends.
Aye.
All right. If you've got one, go for it.
Ridley, it seems there are only incremental changes in clubs today. If you were to redesign a club, which would it be? Love your videos and keep it up.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question. What would it be? I mean, I can't deny that we at times in here discuss whether we do at some point want to have our own line of clubs.
Yeah, I guess kind of kicked around a bit.
We kick that around a lot. I mean, you look at what you can do in this sort of manufacturing facilities out in Asia. You can get some really good stuff made up, and we kind of know what our customers like, and we know that the things that we like. So there's lots of design features you take something from the Strixon's shape over the last few years. They've definitely caught everyone's eye with the shape. You take the sort of feel of, I mean, I'm not saying you'd ever get to the feel of a Mizuno. I mean, that's
if you were aspiring to something, right?
That's where you try and infuse it with more of that. The sort of, I think the sub 70s of the world knows we're just about to get some stuff from sub 70.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they do that already. I mean, they do a great job. New Level do a good job. Even Josh Haywood with his stuff does a good job. Josh is expanding his line all the time. So, but if we were to design a club, you just pick the best attributes from everything in the market.
It's true. You'd go, these are the things I've seen perform so well. Yeah. Like the head shape of a Sim's doing well, the forgiveness of a G410's doing well.
Ball speed of a P790. You try and just mesh all those things and sort of go about it.
That's funny. Yeah, good question. Thought-provoking question. Yep. All right, Matt Harrison, we did actually get your question, didn't we? Nope, we didn't. Here it is. Lovely. YOLO.
YOLO.
What's with all the Vapor Pro chatter today? Lots of people playing Vapors, VRs and stuff. Okay, so he's got Pro Combo, a nice traditional 7-iron, carries 160. Okay, should I consider distance irons?
I mean, probably, Matt. Tough to answer that based on not really knowing anything about your game. But my hunch is you're a young buck. You're using weak lofts already. Going to a 31-degree 7-iron. I'm not sure that's really going to be the best thing for your game.
Unless distance is the one thing that's messing up. If you hit a 7-iron 160, distance is not your main weakness. There's no way. That's
you
far
can
enough.
Probably sneak into a nice set like a 785s or something like that.
Totally. Why wouldn't you just play those? You're going to hit them further anyway.
Definitely. Right? Go into something a little bit on the stronger side where you maybe get a bit of gain, but you're not sacrificing all that control and stuff like that to go with a 7. I certainly wouldn't say a 790 is the right direction. I would be trying to develop other parts of your game.
Yeah, I think that's very smart. Quick one from Sam is asking about Project X 6.5 or 7.0. He swings his 6-iron 98 miles an hour. Is he a 7.0 person or is he a 6.5 person?
Good question. Probably closer to a 7.0.
All right. Jeez, grumpy UPS guy. Like, why don't you just break the door down? Why don't you? Listen,
Bandit is asking, Whisker, are we young bucks? Of course you are.
Of course you are.
Of course you are.
You're only as old as you feel.
Absolutely.
Bandit. You're only as old as you feel.
Only as old as the women you feel.
That's a good one.
Oh, your granny used to say that.
Did she?
Mm-hmm. She had the best sense of humor going.
Sounds like it. That's funny. All right. Dan.
UPS thumbs.
He is the thumbs guy. Yeah, he is, because we rip on him every week.
He is a turd.
Dan is struggling to hit fairways with his driver. Would a switch to Pro V1 from the V1X help reduce my fade from becoming a slice? No, I don't think so.
Would a switch to Pro V1?
They're going to spin almost the same off the driver, Dan. I don't think it's going to matter, bud.
I would say that's...
don't chase it from that.
Yeah, that wouldn't probably be the way to go.
Stick with your golf ball. Look at something else, whether it is your head or shaft combination with the driver, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. The UPS guy's getting abuse, and I love it. I love it so much.
We can hear when you do this, too. We hear both. Grab one if you're ready, bud.
Rich, yeah, I think are we all good with the supers?
Close. We have our perennial question, though. I would love for you to dive in on this. Thoughts on getting your irons SST pured?
I think it offers...
I hate forcing you, because you do a good job, though. Yeah. Every time you bring it up, you seem to at least bring something new to the table. I don't know how you're doing it, because we answer it 4 times a week every week. We're not picking on you, R. Stevens. It's just funny, because we do talk about it every week. What's today's flavor on SST?
SST. I just think the ability to eliminate variables is the value prop when it comes to SST pure. And so, line straightness, whether it's something just out of sync with the torque, it gives you a lot of information when you go through the sort of full 2-minute read through. And what we tended to find was basically just dud shafts. So do I think puring in itself is massively valuable? Some will argue yes. I think it depends on how you deliver the club. I mean, again, there's more research to be done. We talk about it a lot when if there's a pure side or a strong side, well, the shaft doesn't just move on one plane. So what does that do to the other plane? Does it soften that plane? Now, I mean, it's very likely that we at some point will offer SST pure.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
Very, very likely at some point. Because I think I like it as a quality control component
as a tool,
when
basically,
building
right?
set.
Yeah.
And I'm also really curious to do more testing into this. Can we orientate the shafts for specific sort of improvements
like
or
results,
specific?
basically.
Yeah, exactly. Can we influence the sort of, for somebody, for example, who's an excessive toe dropper?
Yes.
Can I put that hard side on the bottom to make it on its stiffest plane deflect the least amount?
So it would have more upright lie just from that.
Potentially. So I'm very, very interested to get into all that stuff.
But at the very least, QC tool, fantastic.
Tool, great.
No brainer.
Great.
I am going to quickly say, Tate, we 100% took your question. I remember saying your name. So rewind, listen for my words, and you'll see your face on the screen. But we definitely grabbed it. Probably about, 20 minutes ago.
Definitely.
From Zach, and I know, Zach, you were wondering if we would get yours. We are getting yours. Zach is asking about the SLDR HL, this is Fairway Woods, versus M2 Tour HL. Need launch up and spin down.
Well, SLDR will probably be a better option for you.
That thing? Okay.
That was a really hot little kind of head, that SLDR.
So he could use the higher lofted version and the spin, expect the spin to still be low.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an older sim, not saying that it's as good as the sim, but that's what sim does, no?
Yeah.
The new one?
And the other part is as well, with the SLDR, you can sort of, adjust the loft. So it was adjustable, that one.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So you've got, whereas M2 obviously is bonded. And
so you'd be bonded to whatever it is.
Exactly.
I have something to mention. I emailed all 8 contestants. I've only got about 3 replies.
Really?
I'm a little concerned that 4 or 5 of them just don't check their email. I'm a little concerned. Now, I have heard from a few who I know are working on their submissions. In fact, one's already sent their submission.
Yeah.
But I've legitimately not heard.
Give them the prize.
Well, I'm not going to say who it is, but you guys probably know who it is. Haven't responded. Not even like,
crazy.
Oh, cool.
Do you know, that kind of pisses me off, because there's so many people who were like, I would do anything to win this prize.
But you wouldn't check your email.
I know.
There's 4 or 5 people who haven't answered. Now maybe they'll see this and go, I'm going to reply when I'm ready. Fine, I'm not picking on you. I I thought my inbox would have 8 replies within 8 minutes.
Well, here you have it. So if you're watching and you're thinking about, maybe I'll get round to it, the clock is ticking. We're going to put a deadline on it.
Oh, I did that already.
Did you?
When
is it?
21st.
Perfect.
You've had like 11 days since I emailed you. It's not much.
21st, yeah. So end of the week.
Joe would get a tattoo for the prize. I love it. Where, Joe? Where, though? Where?
And he hates needles.
I want to know where. Have other YouTubers reached out about getting fit? Rick Shields and Peter Finch. We've chatted with both of those lads. Yeah, when the world is less of a disaster, it would be great to do that with them, and I'm sure we will.
I think it's very likely we'll do something with the guys.
We've been lucky that I think we've been, those two in particular, were really good about connecting with us with Zoom calls and stuff. So I think if the situation was better, we probably could have done something, and we would have been in the UK. Eh?
Yeah, we definitely would.
I don't know if that's funnier than forehead though.
Yeah.
Something about a forehead tattoo, really. Inner thigh.
Oh, you dirty dog.
Lower back.
If they don't reply, April, redraw indeed.
Redraw or just like, man, how many times have we had to do that?
I know. I don't know.
Redraw is I promise you, redraw is the best case scenario. Or it's just going to be down to the 3 people that answer me because shouldn't have to chase people down for the prize of a century.
You just never know. Maybe a lucky loser.
It's like, just couldn't believe it. Did we get this? F9 Atmos Blue?
No.
Oh, okay.
You said F9 with an Atmos Blue.
Wait in the back.
Wait in the back. So I struggled to get the face closed and my swing shaft issue. Yeah, yeah, probably a little bit quick.
For that particular item?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, and the other thing is as well, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Cobra heads, but I think if your issue is kind of rotating the face, it's maybe a little bit limited in that sense. Being able to move the weight front and back is nice from a CG standpoint.
True enough.
Not ideal for rotation.
Yeah, you'd want to heel the toe.
Yeah, ideally.
Driver, love it. There's someone asking about when you're going to expand across Canada. When?
I mean, in good time is probably the politician's answer, but
it's you intend to. How about that?
We certainly intend to. Yeah.
One step at a time, folks. One step at a time.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't really. I'm not really that familiar with the other fitters. Across the other states, if I'm being truthful.
In Canada, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we can say, oh, well, there's True Spec here and Club Champion there.
It's a different space here for sure.
It's definitely
we don't have the chains that y'all do.
Yes.
Lyle, I hope that's right. Lyle, if it's not, my apologies. Swapping shafts in his Z565s, playing light steel. Okay, he was recommended steel fiber. What are your thoughts? I mean, 95 to 95 doesn't seem like a big deal, does it?
No.
I'm assuming you were recommended it because of the vibration properties, perhaps? Mm-hmm. Currently hit a 7-iron 155. I mean, you've got some speed, I would assume, if you can hit 7-iron 155.
Yeah, you're definitely not too slow. Obviously, steel fiber is a little bit of a different profile, a little bit of a higher balance point, things like that. So, maybe there was something from a timing perspective where it was good for you. But I just always let the process, always let the test process just kind of lead you
determine that,
to the results. Yeah.
Agreed.
We didn't get this one, did we? Durability issues with Z-Star?
We did not, and I'm shocked to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really something that we see. We probably test Z-Star as much as anyone. Durability issues, any similar to Switch 2. I mean, Z-Star up there is on the pedestal for me with Titleist, Bridgestone, TaylorMade. I would probably put...
Z-Star's taken absolute beating in here.
Yeah.
A beating, and they last forever.
To be honest, it's probably, the reason that they are our ball of choice. It's a great golf ball. I think it's as good as anything else out there. But the durability is off the charts for us.
So
we find that. So
not surprised.
Sure.
Yeah. Part 2 was about moving another person leaving the 585s.
Inconsistent performance.
New JPX 921s would be worth testing.
Yes.
When you are able to. I don't know if they're in shops yet. They're here, but again, we are ahead
They're
of the curve.
They're literally down there.
Below my feet. Well, we could show them to you.
We can.
You've seen them, though. You've seen them.
People have seen them.
At this point, you've seen them. Be nothing new. Okay, pal. There's one here from Jeff. Jeff, I know you threw a super chat in, but you had no questions. So if you throw that in during our closing arguments, that would be great, our closing statements. But if you have one there, go for it.
No, I think that's us. I think we are...
It felt like we were sharp on the question, so if we missed it, Jeff, then let us know, pal.
Patrick, wouldn't be a TXG Live without an SST question or a cameo from the grumpy UPS guy.
It's true. Part of the routine. Monday morning at 10 a.m., these are the things that happen. Hollywood 1513, yes, we have. Twice.
Yes, yeah.
The video's so nice, we did it twice. J-Sham says, is there any similar balls with the Z-Star? Yeah, TP5. TP5 or Pro V1, pal?
Yes. Dave Smith, if you don't have any Arcos data, how does a fitter handle someone who stripes it indoors like Matty, but is very different outdoors?
We wish them luck.
You know what? It's not difficult to see someone's misses, even when they're hitting it good. You know, even when someone's hitting it well,
you're still going to see it.
Still know the shots that you're going to struggle with based on your delivery patterns, based on your strike patterns. I mean, if I see you hit 70, 80 drivers, you know, I'm unlikely. You're unlikely to not show me a couple of squirrely ones.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, you're gonna do it. I've never had a session where I didn't hit any bad shots. It's not possible.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it will be exposed.
Yep. What's that?
This Bannon and Whiskers back and forth is just so funny.
With their teeth.
It's always a highlight of the day. A lovely banter.
Do we have to bring our teeth? I saw that one earlier.
Yeah, I saw some teeth chatter. All right.
Too good.
How are we feeling? Feel like you want to get started on the old vid?
Let's do it. We've got a lot lined up actually. Don't know how we're going to get through them all today. We're probably going to have to.
That's good. We'll just be selective. We'll focus on the things that excite us.
Hey,
that's what we'll do.
Nice to be excited. Bit of excitement.
Sternum just popped. Have I died? It's a good feeling.
Okay, guys. Thank you for all the support last week. Last week was a big
last
week
felt
on
great, didn't it?
in the views. It was busy.
That's what happens when you release 14 videos, eh?
I know. People really liked the Trotty video. If you haven't heard that,
Trotty did a great job.
Yeah, he done a really good job. And if you haven't listened to it, I mean, it's not really just about TaylorMade. It's not a huge TaylorMade heavy plug, is it?
That's why I put in the title, which is right in front of our face. I said like he's also talking about tour players and club fitting.
Yeah.
Like he didn't just say let's talk P700 irons. We did talk about it for 20 minutes, but of the full hour, I would say you guys talked club fitting for half an hour.
Yeah, true.
Something like that. So
and
it was good.
He always, and like I think anyone who's truly passionate about just helping people, he'll always divert his information off of the product into what someone can take from it. Like what's the information that can be taken from it? And
agree.
You know, he diverted a lot from going. You know, this is what we do, but there's lots of good products out there who
yeah,
do
he tried to be
things,
diplomatic, which I know isn't easy to do when you're associated with a brand. He did as good as you can do.
Definitely.
All right. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thanks for a good live, folks.
See, why do we have to wait until 24th of August for the JPX reviews? Did Rick Shields jump the embargo? He didn't jump the embargo technically, he done a review, not a test.
Not a test
that
of
was
numbers. No numbers.
That was the grey area on it. So
and as you know, we don't do tests without numbers.
We're not going to do a test and not include numbers and show you guys things like that. So Rick had a way of doing it where he didn't technically infringe on an embargo, which is, you know, my answer to that when someone asked me the other day, I said that's why he's in the position he's in. You know, he understands ways in which he can get a head start on everyone else.
And I'm sure did a ton of views.
An absolute ton. And you know, but I think I think for the rest of us, it probably worked out a good thing because, you know, if we release on the same day as Rick, people might just go watch Rick's. And
well,
then
85% of them will.
That's right.
That's just the numbers of it.
Whereas when we release ours, we might get a portion who go, well, I wonder what the TXG guys are saying. I saw Rick's one.
A staggered progression. It's true, because when I'm shopping for something else, maybe like cameras and stuff, I'll watch a bunch of different reviews. And the first one isn't always the one that I want the most, but maybe I watched it because it was first kind of thing. So the reality is, the beauty of YouTube is that there's stuff out there for everybody.
That's exactly.
Just click play and
see
stay
who
set.
you like, see whose opinion you like, who's what it is you're looking to get. Are you looking to take a deep dive into the numbers and talk metal construction? If that's the case, we might be a good suit for you for that. If you just want to hear how they feel in some more general terms, then Rick will do a great job.
Perfect.
Peter Finch will do a good job. I don't think doesn't seem to be reviewing an awful lot of products right now, though.
That's good. He seems to be a little more focused on his game and also just some. I know he did some coaching videos and stuff. So
different challenges.
Maybe he just felt like he wanted to take a little break from club reviews, but I'm sure he'll right back into it.
Yeah. Indeed.
Good. We do have the new clubs that Callaway's releasing tomorrow, but because they're releasing it tomorrow, I don't know. I've seen that about 8 times.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Hey, that might be good. Maybe we are releasing that video tomorrow. Oh.
Wink.
Like how we get our good news from the.
I know, it's so funny.
The live chat.
We don't really like it. We don't really love that.
Callaway, prove us wrong.
Please help us help you.
I know, so funny. Okay, well, that was nice. Solid hour and 8 minutes.
Solid, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Get through a bunch.
I think we were productive. Felt productive.
I know, absolutely. Okay, guys, we are heading out here. Busy day. Have a great week.
Yes.
Stay tuned for some more IGTV stuff. Luke done a great job with.
Luke made 2 or 3 last week.
Yeah.
I thought they were all really
they were
good.
Great. Hopefully, if you guys haven't seen them, we're doing little sort of mini snippets of our videos over on Instagram now. So on our IGTV. So look out for more of those to come. And
at least 2 or 3 this week. And I meant to say to you, a lot of views relative to how many followers we have.
Good.
So I think they were like really successful.
Good.
So you will see that as a fixture.
Grand. Okay. Excellent.
All right.
Guys, have a great week.
Until next week.